On the night of May 6, 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor, a series of missile strikes against targets within Pakistan. This operation marked a significant escalation in the already tense relationship between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. India claimed these strikes were preemptive, targeting terrorist infrastructure that posed an imminent threat to Indian security. The operation, shrouded in secrecy, sent shockwaves across the Indian subcontinent and beyond. The strikes, carried out with precision, targeted 9 locations in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. These locations, according to Indian sources, were carefully selected to minimize civilian casualties and focus solely on terrorist training camps and logistical hubs. The operation, as per initial reports, achieved its objectives, effectively neutralizing the identified threats and delivering a strong message of deterrence. However, the aftermath of the operation painted a grim picture, with reports of civilian casualties and damage to civilian infrastructure emerging from Pakistan. The international community, while acknowledging India's right to defend itself, expressed deep concern over the escalation of violence and urged both countries to exercise restraint. The operation, while intending to dismantle terrorist networks, inadvertently opened a Pandora's box of uncertainty and fear in the region. Pakistan vehemently denied the presence of any terrorist infrastructure within its borders. They condemned the strikes as an act of aggression and a violation of their sovereignty. Pakistan vowed a robust and befitting response, asserting its right to defend itself against any external aggression. In the immediate aftermath, Pakistan claimed to have shot down 2 Indian fighter jets that crossed the line of control, capturing 1 pilot. While India acknowledged the loss of 1 aircraft, they maintained that the pilot ejected safely and demanded his immediate and unconditional release. This incident further escalated tensions, pushing the two nations closer to the brink of war. The international community watched with bated breath as the situation unfolded. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency meeting, urging both sides to de-escalate and engage in dialogue. The United States, China, and other major powers called for restraint, emphasizing the need for a peaceful resolution to the crisis. The specter of a full-blown conflict between 2 nuclear-armed states loomed large, prompting frantic diplomatic efforts to avert a catastrophe. Global leaders reacted swiftly to the news of Operation Sindoor, expressing deep concern over the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan. The United Nations Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, called for maximum restraint from both sides and urged them to engage in dialogue to de-escalate the situation. The international community recognized the volatile nature of the situation, particularly given the history of conflict between the 2 nuclear-armed neighbors. The United States, a key player in the region, found itself in a particularly delicate position. While acknowledging India's right to self-defense, the US also emphasized the need for de-escalation and a peaceful resolution. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken engaged in frantic diplomatic efforts, speaking with his counterparts in both India and Pakistan, urging them to exercise restraint and avoid any actions that could further inflame the situation. The international community grappled with the implications of the crisis, particularly the risk of a nuclear confrontation. The specter of 2 nuclear-armed states engaging in open warfare sent chills down the spines of world leaders. The global response to Operation Sindoor highlighted the precariousness of peace in the region and the urgent need for a negotiated settlement to the long-standing disputes between India and Pakistan. The recent escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan is but the latest chapter in a long and tumultuous history of conflict between the 2 nations. Since gaining independence from British rule in 1947, India and Pakistan have fought 3 major wars, with numerous smaller skirmishes and periods of heightened tensions. The Kashmir dispute, a territorial conflict over the Himalayan region, has been a major flashpoint between the 2 countries, fueling mistrust and animosity. The 2025 crisis, sparked by the Operation Sindoor strikes, underscores the deep-seated animosity and lack of trust that continues to plague India-Pakistan relations. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace in the region and the ever-present danger of escalation, particularly given the nuclear dimension of the rivalry. Moving forward, it is imperative for both India and Pakistan to prioritize de-escalation and engage in meaningful dialogue to address their differences. The international community, particularly influential nations like the United States and China, have a critical role to play in facilitating such dialogue and encouraging peaceful resolution. The alternative, another war between two nuclear-armed neighbors, is simply unthinkable and would have catastrophic consequences, not just for the Indian subcontinent, but for the entire world.